Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Almus monthly market webisodes. Uh, this is the episode 10 of season 2, and my name is Maulik Shah. I'm one of the co-founder and CEO of Almus Risk Consulting. At Almus, we specialize in managing currency, commodity, and interest rate risk for the corporate treasury and other market participants. Indeed, a pleasure to have all of you to today's very interesting session. Before we begin the session, let me just set the brief context of the market webisode series. It has been our endeavor over last 2 years to share the knowledge with the market participants. And Almus monthly webinar series really helps us to deliver on those promises and commitments. And you being here today, attending this session, indeed is allowing us to keep doing this every month after month after month. In this season, which is season 2 of the current financial year, we are in the 10th session. And as one of the theme on an alternate episodes, and when I say alternate, it is episode 2, episode 4, 6, 8, and today we are in 10th. We picked up a theme called Roadmap to Current Account Surplus. As a market participant, I'm sure you know, as a country, we are current account deficit compared to China, which is a current account surplus. The theme here is how do we achieve the current account surplus status, which means the net exports, whether it is a goods or services, are far more and bigger than the imports. And basis that theme, we have been picking up various sectors in the last 5 to 6 different episodes. We started with the service exports, then we moved on to textile, defense, jewelry, and today we have one of the very talked about the new age industry, the highly focused globally, which is a semiconductor industry and the electronic exports. And I really want to welcome the person who has been at the cusp of this entire evolution, which has been happening over the last 4 or 5 years through the semicon initiatives, government efforts, and the person who has been working very closely with the government, who's involved into this entire initiatives and really making it happen for the country, Dr. Veerappan. Sir, welcome to monthly episode.
Thank you. Thank
you for joining us. I will take the pleasure of introducing Dr. Veerappan, and then we'll move on to today's interesting session. And I will also share with you the flow of today's session, which will be for an hour or so. So let me first introduce Dr. Veerappan. Doctor, he is the chairperson of the India Electronics Semiconductor Association and a co-founder of Tessolve Semiconductor Private Limited. I must say at this point in time, the company also has been in news for its German acquisition of a company called Chip, which already came in the Economic Times about a month back. Company is really one of the market leader in the chip designing servicing area, and Sir himself has been very active in this space. He is a Bachelor of Engineer from Annamalai University in 1982, and he had a brilliant academic track record. His pursuit of excellence in engineering was further acknowledged through an honorary doctorate conferred in recognition of his substantial contribution to engineering and society. As a chairperson of IESA and a co-founder of Tessolve, Dr. Veerappan has played pivotal roles in shaping the semiconductor industry in India. His vision and leadership has propelled Tessolve, the company that he chairs, towards remarkable achievements, cementing his position as a leader in the industry. And his own industry experience includes notable positions at Sterling Electronics, DCM, Wipro, and Motorola. Now, there are a few more things which are very important to Dr. Veerappan, and that's his social commitment. Dr. Veerappan's commitment to social welfare can be very easily evident through his involvement with Rotary, various trusts, and NGOs. He has been one of the very active contributor to governing councils of institutions like Sona College of Technology, CIT Chennai, and NEC Koilapatti. His exemplary contributions have been duly recognized through a plethora of prestigious awards, including the Motorola CEO Award in 2000, Motorola India Awards twice, vocational awards from Rotary International thrice, and many more. He serves as a beacon of inspiration and excellence, bringing a wealth of knowledge and insights inspiring and making a meaningful difference in the world. Indeed, it's an honor, sir, to have you today's in the webinar series. And before I hand it over to you, just to share the flow of today's session, what we have lined up, we are going to focus on semiconductor industry and the opportunity and challenges for an electronic exports. Sir will take us through his insights through a presentation. We will run through, which will be for about 20-25 minutes, post which I will have an interactions with the sir. And as I interact with him, in case if you have any questions during any point in time, please feel free to put it up in the chat box. You can even have a question during his presentations, any clarifications, do that in the chat box. I'll pick it up and place it to Dr. Veerappan. We will end the session by 12. You will also have an opportunity to interact in the last 15-20 minutes in case if you have any specific questions. With that, let me now invite Dr. Veerappan to share his insights. Welcome, sir, once again.
Very good morning, everyone. Thanks, Maulik, for the wonderful introduction.
My pleasure.
I'm running cold, so my voice may not be the actual voice what I used to have, but I will try my best. And first, thanks, Almus, for this opportunity for addressing the webinar. Let me start with my. We are all in exciting times, very exciting times in the country. You all know, right? In 1989-90, it was IT boom. IT came to India, right? When Manmohan Singh and PM Narasimha Rao opened it up. 91 onwards, it was IT boom in the country. Then 2000, it came to Y2K. You all know Y2K. I think now the last 2-3 years, you have been hearing semiconductor, because we are in the industry for the last 20 years. People don't even know what is semiconductor, right? Now the last 2-3 years, everybody, even if you go to a village, people are talking about semiconductor. I think that tells very, very clearly IT to Y2K now to Semicon. Semicon is a buzzword today, as Maulik said. I think the last 3 years have been everywhere, wherever we go, Semicon. So it is dream come true for us, for the industry, semiconductor and electronics industry. Dreaming coming true. PM is talking. We have a separate ministry for electronics and information technology now. I think wonderful and great time for this space, Semicon and electronics. Let me start first with the digitization, right? Where do we stand? Not the other.
Everyone can see the slide. Yes. Shall I start, sir?
The next slide. The next slide. Maulik, the digitization slide.
Yes.
Right. This right. Okay. Now I was talking about the exciting and great times India is having. See, this digitization started in 2014. You all know, right? 2014, India started with Make in India, digitization, all those things. So it is. If it is audience, I can ask a Q&A type of thing. I can ask you to guess. Since it is a webinar, I am not in the position to ask you the questions. So very clearly today, I just want to tell you, we are doing 380 million of UPI transactions a day. That means your Google Pays, your Phone Pays, your transaction. The digital transaction is 380 p, the largest in the world today in India. The largest in the world. See, that means 380 million transaction is 38 crores. See, if we consider we sleep for like 7 hours, we sleep. 17 hours we do. Every 60 minutes, India is going through 2 crores of transaction. And more, you all please understand, it's all seamless. You do a Google Pay, you touch, it goes via your GSM, then you go to the bank server, then debit your account, take the money, credit others' account, different banks, different servers, then give the message to him. He may be in India, he may be in the US, I may be anywhere. I get a message back, it is debited, he gets a message, it's credited. All this happens, seamlessly. It doesn't take even a minute, right? So that's telling the growth of India digitization. We are extremely, so it doesn't happen just like that. It is not the numbers. You need infra to do it, right? You need infrastructure to do it. So as a country, I think we have done very well on that front. So one is I'm telling you data. See, earlier, the mobile and the phone was meant only for voice. Basically, in the old days, you dial only for voice. Then later also, when India 1996, we started this mobile thing, right? It was morely on data and SMS, not on other voice. Now what happened? No, voice. Now morely into data. So now the data transaction across the voice. In the country, the voice, now the data is more than voice on a mobile if you take. That's where it has come to. When we started in 2014, we used to pay 227 rupees per GB. We used to pay. Now we are paying 7 rupees per GB. See the change in 10 years, right? Per GB of data has almost come down by 227 to 7 rupees. One more thing I just want to tell you, the food delivery, you need the Swiggies and Zomatos. You know, if you guess in Bangalore, a city, Bangalore alone, is doing 7.8 lakhs of Swiggy and Zomato a day. Think of it. It's 7.8 lakhs. You order a food, it goes to the restaurant, and you also have that guy picking up on his way, delivering in 2 minutes. All are happening online. How it is possible? No, 8 lakh in Bangalore alone. Think of the country, how much food delivery can happen, and all are happening. And we have so much of infra for it. So one, I just want to tell you, cloud. Cloud infrastructure has gone tremendously now. Now you can talk about Amazon Cloud or Microsoft Azure, Indian Reliance. I think cloud infrastructure is now grown bigger and bigger in the country. That is one area. So data centers and cloud has really grown well. I can tell you, India is huge on data centers today. So data transfers are happening. That is one. Then it has to get connected. All our mobile, all these 380 million transactions, 38 crore, has to get connected by a network, mostly wireless. So that means that you at home maybe a Wi-Fi, at your office maybe a Wi-Fi, then you get connected. If it is a mobile, it is a GSM that goes. I tell you, the network connectivity in India is amazing. And what happened? No, it is almost like I can say 99.9% uptime. You seldom see a failure today in networks. That means that we have a fantastic network and connectivity in the country, which is in the last 10 years is proven. So reliability, right? See, now what happened? You go to ATM and draw cash. Online connection, no, we cannot afford a failure today. And you will see, right? If you're going in a car now, FASTag, it gets debited, credited, your car has to move. So many cars to move across India. So see the network, right? So network and connectivity has been amazing. We have gone a long way from 10 years, the past 10 years, we have gone a long way. Today, we are the best of the world on the connectivity. Next is, the important thing is all this transaction has cash, right? Cash, money, everything. We are talking about 32 billion in a day transactions across money. So I think Maulik will agree with me. It's very important that this has to be secured, right? Because there is so much of cyber frauds across the world. So that way, on cyber security also, India has done very well. It is, if you see that each of our data centers, each of our networks, all are protected very much. And I can tell you that you can hear some cyber fraud, but not that much for this transaction. If you're doing 38 crores transaction a day, you hardly see any fraud, which means that as a country, all our servers, all our data centers, all the networks, everything is protected very well, so that nobody can breach into the number. That's why third point. Then fourth is to do all this, the RBI, the government has allowed all this to happen. Because unless until you have a regulatory framework by the government on the data protection, all these things, right? Consumer rights, so many things. I think as a country, we have done that very well. Now, our regulatory framework, fantastic. So, see, even in this bank transaction, a lot of things RBI has to allow. Your usage of this money, going to the money, that all has to happen seamlessly unless until we have a clear framework, regulatory framework, it won't happen. So as a country, we have a wonderful framework about everything. Then literacy. The next point is basically that even in a village, people are using UPI today or WhatsApp today. So it is possible only by complete literacy. We have done this across this, educating people. So most of the people, that's what I tell, we used to have in 2014, 19% only smartphones. Today, we have more than 70% smartphones. So you see the population of India, we have about 900 million mobile users, 900 million mobile users in the country. So it means almost every rural is covered. So that means as a country, we have educated people very well. So literacy, financial inclusion of everybody knows, right? Money account, banking, everybody's got a bank account. I think that's why the financial inclusion is cash transaction is you go to now, you go and buy a vegetable vendor. He has got a QR code to pay. Even I believe somewhere, even you go anywhere now, UPI payment is there by anybody. That means they have a bank account. The money has to go. So bank account. That's why I said financial inclusion. If you, this I want to give to all of you. This is why I said exciting times. We are at exciting time on digital growth. We are the best time in the century. I can say very much. So I tell all of you that this is where we stand. This is number one. I want to set all of you. Then coming to the main thing of semiconductor. Where are we on the semiconductor? Today, the consumption, I'll take consumption first, is we consume about $30 billion of semiconductor in the country. Semiconductor is chips, ICs, that I'm talking about the microprocessor, the memory, all the chip side. I'm not talking the rest side. Is about $30 billion we consume in the country. But it is expected to grow to 3 times in 2030. This will go to 100 billion. You all know why, right? Because you definitely the digitization is going to help. We know more mobiles, more laptops, more servers, more Wi-Fi. You name anything, it's all connected to that. That's why I started with that context. Context is the moment you digitize, you need all this. Without this, nothing will work. So even if you talk about electric vehicle, EV is coming. All these things needs chips. So basically, as a country, that is going to be tripled. Our consumption in semiconductor is going to be tripled. That is one time. Then all started, but we started early. It's not that we had started late. We started this in 1984. We started the first Indian fab. Fab means the wafer manufacturing plant at Mohali called Semiconductor Complex Limited. Government started. But if you take today, we are like 40 years from that. We are 20, 24, 25 now, 41 years. We don't have a commercial fab in the country. Mohali, apart from Mohali, we have 2-3 government fabs, one in BL, one in Sitar, but all are non-commercial fabs. That means as a country, we don't make a single commercial wafer as of today. You can say it is a shame on us, but whatever may be the reason, I think we allowed more imports to the sector. We import duty-free. So it didn't allow anybody to start this industry here. So we, as a country, in semiconductor side, we don't have a commercial fab in the country. That is one status as of today. The Texas Instruments, the TI, started in 1985. The first semiconductor company to come to India is 1985. They came to India in Bangalore. They are now completing 40 years in the country. They are a chip company. They are an IDM, but they started with the EDA development those days. So that design side, really we have grown. We have the largest, we have more than 200 plus VLSI, very large scale integration design companies in India. And you name a IDM, integration device manufacturer like Texas Instruments, Intel, all of them, fabless companies, all of them have got the largest design center in the country. So today, we do almost like 300 tape outs, means full chip, from the start to the going to the fab. This is called GDS2. We do almost 300 tape outs a year, which is 30 tapes out a month, which is very huge. And world's 30% of design is happening out of India. So I think this should tell you, as of today, India has got the knowledge. India has got the best of the skill set. We are design grown very well. We are the best. I can say we are the best design house in the world today. So India has done that chip on very well. Post design is the issue. Next, post design, the wafer. I told you, the wafer is as of nowhere today. We don't have a commercial fab. That's number 2. We are on the packaging side. We have a couple of packaging, means putting the wafer into a package and make as a chip. We have a couple of small players in this in India who are doing the packaging, and also today components. Leave the ICs, microprocessors, memory, and chips. We import almost all the components. Earlier we used to have This capacitors, resistors to be made. You must have heard, no, Beltron, Maharashtra Electronics Corporation, Elcott, Electronic Corporation of Tamil Nadu, Keltron, Kerala Electronics Corporation, Kionix, this is from Karnataka Electronics. All these companies used to make this passives, which is your capacitors, and we have done away with that now. Now, none of these companies are even existing to make these components. Now, components, we are importing 90%. So this is on the semicon side. I just want to give you a brief that we stand there. Now coming to the next, good, I say exciting times now onwards, right? What we are doing. First is, after a very long time, thanks to the government of India, they have announced a scheme called India Semiconductor Mission, called IESA 1.0 in 2022, which is, see, basically how do we bring these companies to India? You want to take a fab because all the Chinese and Taiwanese are already done for the last 30, 40 years. And then you can't be global competitive. If you start a company in India, they have volumes, you can't be competitive. To make these companies globally competitive, be from industry, association, IESA, we recommended to the government, you have to give SOPs to these companies to start this. But these are all huge investment. We're talking about $10 billion, $5 billion investments for a fab. Nobody will come in. And we have been trying for the last, from 2006 onwards, we are trying for a fab to come to our country. I think to all our happiness, the first fab is announced in our country by Tatas in Moderator, Gujarat. The groundbreaking is done. The construction is going on. Hopefully, things go fine. The first commercial wafer out of India will come out in 2026. Commercial wafer, volumes wafer, which they're talking about 50,000 wafers a month. 12-inch wafers a month will come out of Tata's Moderator plant by 2026. That is one. So India has now announced a fab, and there are 2-3 fabs are already offering. They are all in the approval stage. Government has to approve. So we have a possibility of getting another 2-3 fabs in a recent future. But one is real. We all went for the groundbreaking. Prime Minister was there. All of them were there. The construction is started and the wafer is going to come out. That's one. Next is post-wafer. What happened is see here investment is very clear. Not only the fab comes with a lot of ecosystem partners. The fab needs chemical, fab needs, equipments, fab needs many things. So if it is not a fab comes with almost 200 ecosystem partners. So it has an open opportunity. We'll get a fab. We'll also come with supply chain of about 200 ecosystem partners. So that industry is on now. That's one. Then second is post-wafer. This has to be packaged. This is called ATMP. They call Assembly Test Mark Pack, or it's called OSAT, Outsource Assembly and Test. So this finally is all done. Now we have 4 OSATs in place. 3 in Sanand and 1 in Assam. Assam is Tata, Sanand is Micron, Keynes and CG Power, which is AMM Group with Renesas. All are done. Groundbreaking is done. They are real started. The first volume packaged product will come out of India in coming next 2 months is going to come. So that means that's also a dream come true for all of us. We will get a packaged product out of Micron plant in Sanand, which is Gujarat. It's coming out. Then coming to the PCB. See, this has to go to I'm coming into electronics, right? Semiconductor, a bit of electronics. This all has to go to PCBs. PCB, we manufacture PCB. Again, no, we don't manufacture PCB. We manufacture PCB if it is currently the India manufacture the consumption to manufacturing. If you consume 100 PCBs, we manufacture 0.4. That's the number today. So that means our consumption of PCB is so high, but we manufacture only 0.4% of the PCB in the country. So we have been telling government we have to manufacture the PCBs. Currently, we are importing from China, Taiwan, the other countries. So that's the area which we have told the government. Now there are 3-4 PCB manufacturing plant is being planned. 1 in Chennai by Keynes, 2 in Odisha. So these are coming up. This industry has to grow. So next is the component. You need the PCB, you have to populate with the component, right? So there We import 99%, as I told earlier. 99% of the components are currently getting imported, either from these countries. That's one. So one day we have to have our own chips. That's what the point number 5, if you see. Do we have a commercial IC in the country? India Intel, India Texas Instruments, India Micron. You name any chip. We don't have a single Indian chip. We may have a chip out of the academics. I'm not talking about academics. Academics are not like a commercial volume based. We have more than 12, 13 academics have come out with chips, but they are all more towards not volume, right? They're more towards testing, research, and development. But if you're coming to commercially, like huge market commercializing, India doesn't have a single chip. So we also is talking about where is India IC. So I think there's an answer. Looks like with the current ISM and government policies, India IC is going to come shortly. Thanks to L&T, they have started the L&T Semiconductor division. So India IC is, so to tell all of you, we are on the right path as a country on semiconductor. We may have slept for 30 years, at least now we woke up. That's why I said again, exciting time for all of us. We are moving. Now coming to the electronics. I covered semiconductor. Now coming to electronics. Where are we? You all know, right? We are consuming, see, mobile phone. We are the largest mobile phone consumption in the world now today. You name anything, televisions, we are the largest consumer product. All hugely in electronics market, our consumption is big. So we are talking about 150 billion of consumption as of today, which is going to be 500 in the next 3 to 4 years. 500 billion is going to be next. This is our electronics consumption, which is going to be tripled. And this is the underestimate. The real estimate, nobody knows the number. If things grow fine, but everybody is buying. So that is where we are hugely on electronics. Then what happened? One more thing, when we did IESA did an exercise for Vikasit Bharat. Today, our economy is $3.9 trillion, the Indian economy still. So what looks like is in 2047, electronics will be 3 trillion in 2047. Vikasit Bharat projection says our today's GDP will be the GDP of electronics in 2047. That's the numbers, right? We are working on a huge number as a country. We are growing very well. So that when we projections of Vikasit Bharat, you can say that today current GDP will be our electronic GDP in 2047. That's the number. So then one more thing is after you take this assembly, I told everybody, right? So this components are there, PCB is there, chip. It has to be assembled by somebody. You have to put all these components on these PCBs. That is called the EMS, Electronic Manufacturing Services. That is huge. That's really huge. As I given a number, right? Today, we do 32% of mobile iPhone out of the country, assembled in India. I can't say it is manufactured, but it's assembled in India by EMS. Tata is doing, Flextronics going, Visteon is doing. You name a EMS player, well, they're all in India. Hosur, Sriperumbudur, Chennai, all these places have got mushroom of EMS companies. So we do, so EMS pretty much we are strong. It is nothing but putting the components on the PCB and getting it assembled. So we do for mobile phones, now we have planned. So EMS as a industry, India is pretty strong today, and it is going to grow. We have, apart from the big players, we have about 100 to 150 small-time EMS players in the country. So EMS as a market, we have, then again, it's supported by the PLI, Production Link Incentive Scheme by the government. So this industry is really growing very well. So on electronics, I tell you that consumption is really going to be very high, but we have only EMS. The rest of this ecosystem, like chips, components, are all coming in. Next. Okay, now the next again interesting thing is product. I always talk about where is India product. Hardware, software, you can take anything. You take, we are consuming, where is India LG? Where is India Samsung? Where is India iPhone? Where is India Microsoft? Where is India Google? We can keep on telling, right? On a product as a country, I think you talk about the IPs, right? See why India GDP is 3.8 trillion, US GDP is 30 trillion, 10 times. Where? we have a population, our consumption is very high, we do a lot of this UPI, we do everything. Why? Where is it? The whole thing is the product, IP. The IP doesn't lie with us. See, even though all these guys do their, most of, see, for example, Intel does the microprocessor in India. The whole development happens in India. But the IP lives in the US. Microsoft. So basically, India has to have a product of our own, India multinational product. Whereas India's product has to be sold worldwide. India's application has to be sold worldwide. So we keep an IP here. So we have been telling that if you really want to grow as a country, the product and IP is the way. Intellectual property is the way that we should have the IP here. So let's see, now Microsoft is selling that you are buying Windows and MS Office, right? You buy in all your laptops, all you buy there. Where the money, the loyalty goes to the US. It doesn't lie with India. So we spend money, whereas that's why the GDP of the US is very high, because the last 20, 25 years, all the innovations happening out of the US, not out of our country. So we need to have, that is why the government is promoting startup, innovations, research and development. We need to be very strong. So we are hopeful that India will have a product of its own. Our own products, our own IPs will take us next time. So product, there's a lot of demand in the product. Good. So it's growth. That's one. Then advantages, I tell you, because as a country, assembly, we are coming into here. See, we are almost cheaper on labor cost by 14% to China. I'm just compared to China. If you compare to China, we are competitive on labor. And also, reasonably, the issue is we are okay with the infra is an issue, which I'll come back. But basically, we are having a very good competitive advantage over the labor cost. That's very important, and the skill. So on the skill side, I think India has got the largest population, 380 million people in the age group, which no other world has got. So we have a strong, the age group of 18 to 32 is strongest in the world today we have. So these are all the positive advantages in the country. Then government, I think, as I told you earlier, I think government has woken up on semiconductor electronics now. No, I think the government is willing to support. See, I'll tell you for a fab. For a fab now, the central government gives 50% subsidy on capital, which is unheard of. See, if you invest 10 billion, 5 billion is cash subsidy, cash. It's money to you. Then the state governments is topping up. Each state government is competing with each other. Gujarat, or you take Tamil Nadu, the 7, 8 states very active. So they are topping up with another 20%. That means that when you put this industry, 70% of the money comes as free, which is unheard of. I think that's why I said government support is amazing. There are a lot of schemes. Right time for people to invest in India. So that's where the support. Then goals, definitely, as I told you, that we want to be the global manufacturing leader by 2025. That's what they tell, but it will take time. But definitely, you can see now the mobile phones are, say, 30% of mobile phone assembled in the country. A lot of EMS plays coming in, and India consuming consumption of electronics. I'm sure that the Make in India will happen. And definitely, if it is 2047, I think we'll be we are planning to be the third largest economy in the world. But on manufacturing, I think we are a service country. As of today, we give services to everybody in software and so on. But manufacturing, as a country, we have grown. And definitely GDP is, the manufacturing is expected to go by 5 trillion by the time. Job creation, and I'm coming to the export now. The more of import we have to start manufacturing here, then we start exporting. Currently, in this sector, electronic sector, it is mainly imports. I told you, IC completely import, PCB import, components import. So that means that what we make in India, we get everything imported. So there's a clear direction by the government to look at increasing, make sure that the imports have come down and we increase the exports of the country. A lot of initiatives by government of India. I think that's why I said exciting times for all of us. Any next slide? I've covered. Right. I think this is my last slide. So to all of you, what I explained till today is, I think as a country, we are woken up now on semiconductor electronics. I think everybody knows whenever we go to any government, any organization, everybody talks about semiconductor electronics as a sector. Now, one more sector I didn't cover this, the automobile sector, right? EV coming in, AI coming in. AI, you cannot do anything without chips. So chips are by default, when any technology comes in, ICs, electronics, and semiconductor are a must. So we cannot do away with that. So you talk about we are talking about artificial everywhere today. Your autonomous vehicle, all of them needs basically semiconductor electronics. So that's why I said that humble beginning of semiconductor powers India is driving towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, and self-reliance at its core. So we will be self-reliant in near future. So with this, I think I've covered almost the semicon and electronics side. I'm okay. I took about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, Maulik. Okay.
Good, sir. And thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you for your patience listening.
Yeah.
I think I think I covered what I wanted.
Yeah. No, that was excellent, sir. And thank you for taking us through the entire journey so far. At this point in time, and we have a very superb response from all the participants. So I invite everyone, in case if you have any questions, please put it up in the chat box as I interact with Doctor for the next 20 odd minutes. So, Doctor, let me just take a step back. From your slides, one of the points that you mentioned, that 1984 is when we had the first setup. And
Yes.
it took almost 40 years. Now, just being critical or skeptical on the entire evolution of the journey so far, why should it take such a long time, 40 years? And in that process, have we really lost the race? How would you reflect on it?
No, very much. See, the fab started. After that, what happened? No, in 3-4 years, there was a fire in the fab. It went to something, right? So, and what happened? No big companies wanted to invest, like Tata, Reliance. All of them. See what happened. Everybody looked at automobile as a sector, as the country. So our focus from there, the 70s, 80s, were towards automobile as a country. We neglected semiconductor. And also the government, see what happened now? The government allowed imports to come in. So nobody wanted to see, for example, I used to work with Motorola. We started a paging factory, pager manufacturing factory in 97 in Electronic City. We started a paging factory. But what happened? Suddenly the government reduced the duty for pager import. So importing pager was cheaper than manufacturing in the country. So basically our policies towards imports didn't allow anybody to start manufacturing, because you can't be cost competitive. Right? So that's why basically one I can contribute the government the mission or government thinking towards allowing imports to come into the country. We signed up DTA, we signed up everything. We can't blame anybody. Maybe that may be right at that point of time, but government did not focus on this sector. That's one point. 20-25 years, we didn't focus on this sector here. And then nobody wanted to invest on a capital, high capital. See, all our people are thinking, the moment 1990 software industry came, it is low capital, high margin, low risk. ROI is like shorter. Whereas if you go to manufacturing, it is high capital, low margin, long-term return. This is fit with our mentality of Indian investors. That's why nobody wanted to put money into this sector. So that's the delay. But anyway, I think as you said, the point is we lost a lot. All these guys, see, like Vietnam, Malaysia, they picked up. Yeah? Vietnam has picked up. Malaysia has picked up. They are on no way. India could have done much better. But we allowed all these countries in this last 23 years to grow. But better late than never.
Yeah. And as we stand today, sir, how do we compare against our peers? I mean, who have gone far ahead in the race? You mentioned about Vietnam, Korea, South Korea, Taiwan. Where we stand today?
See, I'll tell you, China, Taiwan, and Korea are in a different fray. We can't. They have done. See, like if you take Korea, they've done really well and they're up, right? So it will take time. That's why I said we can't compete with them as a point of time. But definitely, all these otherwise, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, all these countries, I think we can cross them at no. Unfortunately, Europe, Germany and all should have done very well, but these again, the Eastern countries have taken them over, right? So we will take some more time, but definitely that we will be the top 4, 5 manufacturing hub in the world.
Got it. There are a few questions on the chat box. I'll pick that up, Doctor, for you. It's one from Karthik Parekh. Can you please touch on the point on OSAT and locations where they are present?
Okay. OSAT, I told you, it's outsourced assembly and test. One other side is called ATMP. This is post wafer packaging. Currently, the OSAT is announced in Sanand. 3 OSATs, one by Micron, which is a captive. Micron is the largest memory company in the world. They have a captive plant in Sanand, Gujarat, which is coming out of the first package is like March 2025. Then one company is called Keynes, which is an EMS company out of Mysore. They are starting a OSAT plant in Sanand. Then one more is CG Power along with Renesas, Japan. They have already broken the ground at Sanand. These 3 are in Sanand, Gujarat. So 3 OSATs are announced by Tata in Assam. I think the government wanted to give import to the eastern India. So one OSAT already broken the ground, started the construction on. This is by Tata at Assam. There are 3, 4 OSATs announced, smaller OSAT, one in Surat by Suchi Semicon, one in RRP in Mumbai. I think another 2 or 3 are in pipeline. So this is about the OSAT as of today.
Okay. There is one more question from Pradeep Kaura. Do we see investment plans in SCL Mohali too in the near future, please?
Very much. See, SCL used to be a 6-inch wafer plant. For example, if you tell all the numbers, SCL used to give 5,000 6-inch wafers a year. 5,000. Now there are plant which is giving 30,000 12-inch wafer a month. That's the technology change between Mohali, but government now woken up and again clearly they want to invest more on. They already invested money. Now it is 8-inch technology is being invested. More focus is because it's mostly consumption by defense and ISRO. It's not by anybody else. No, it's not a commercial fab. It's a governmental fab. Now government is also in between. We have from IESA also suggested because government running a fab. Why don't you privatize to run a fab? This suggestion has also gone in. So definitely, I think already a lot of investments are committed for. I can see a lot of investment are committed for SCL. I think SCL is definitely committed. I think about 150 million is committed for some SCL by Government of India.
Okay. There is one more question from Kapil Kaushik. It's good that Government of India is supporting electronic chemicals manufacturing, but is government focusing on subsidiary industries like chemical and gases, rare earth and specialty metals? Is India chemical industry keeping pace with electronic manufacturing industry?
Right. See, basically, this is what I said, no, along with the fab, the ecosystem. You see, the problem is we don't have a clear policy for chemical gases because all this needed for the fab, right? So currently, we are telling the government a complete supply chain policy has to come in. So government has been informed. The government is working on. See, like basically Gujarat is working on a clear policy along with the central government for allowing. See, some of these gases cannot be even transported. We don't have a clear policy to import this, transport this, store this. So I think that sector is also now what happened. IESA earlier used to have members of electronics and semiconductor. Now we have members who are gas suppliers and also US chemicals, also member of IESA. So we are telling it is not only electronics, don't leave these people. So this system needs this all ecosystem. So we are also developing now policies. If we have a supply chain report by IESA, which they can go through, which tells very, very clearly what are being recommended to government. So we as association is recommending a lot of policies towards chemical and gas particularly and working with these industry, taking inputs from them. We are taking inputs from the chemical and gas industries and telling the government this industry has to be subsidized. We have to promote them. Again, regulatory policies have to come in. Very much, I think it's the right question, but we are focused on that.
So similarly on the same ecosystem, see, I think, and I'll just comment on one part, and this has always been the case for any industry to develop, the entire ecosystem needs to be in place. In fact, in an Indian context, auto and auto ancillary ecosystem is one classic example of, how
Exactly.
it can
Right.
flourish. And I remember having on a conversation with experts in the defense exports. We covered one session on defense export.
Right.
Is one of the biggest challenges the development of the ecosystem. Even for a simple testing, it has to travel all the way to Europe and come back and
Right.
a lot of
Right.
time.
Right. Right.
Now, what are some of those challenges in building the ecosystem for semiconductor and electronic industry? I mean, apart from what you already covered, what are some of those challenges?
See, I'll tell you one. See, you touch the point on testing, right? See the no, all see what happened in the IC. It's not a sample test. Every chip which is produced is tested. Means if you produce even billion and billion and billion, each has to be tested. And also one more thing is called reliability. This are all it can go here in your mobile phone. It can go to satellite. It can go to anywhere. It can go to rockets. It'll be anywhere. The chip has to be tested for reliability.
Yes.
So currently the reliability test is not there. We go outside to test even because this has to go through they call burn-in test. So you have to test this for 1,000 hours with the particular temperatures. All these this currently is all going out to Singapore or the US and so on, right? India doesn't have a testing. You test the point as a testing. So now we are telling the government we need to have a common test facility. Common test facility because each one cannot have one test facility, right? And also certification. See, this is stringent because you have when the moment you have to put your chip to an aircraft, there's a standards. So we are telling the government now, if you're going to see, these are all the part of the ecosystem. I'm telling that you have to have this lab to test and give the standards. They have to give the certification. So all the certification, the standards, these are all part, right? Part of the testing. These are all common facility has to be given for this industry. So when you go to like if they got a Dalera center, Sanat, that's why the government is looking at a common facilities for all these people to give them. That is one. Second is I told the 200 supply chain. So we have gone to the depth what the semiconductor and electronics industry need ecosystem partners. So we have given a supply chain report to the government that these are all the possible supply chain companies which can come in India. Currently, equipment. So we don't have equipment suppliers for the industry. It's coming from, it's all imported. Then who will maintain this? So maintenance of these are all part of the whole thing, right? So maintenance of this equipment as we don't have. Currently, if you want something, guys have to fly in from Singapore to this. So that's so maintenance. So it is like a chain. But definitely that no, you are right. But we have given all the inputs to make sure that it is not only the fab or only the OSAT or only the electronics. You have to make sure that like automobile ancillary, this ecosystem has to grow and the government is aware.
And how quickly, I mean, how agile the government responses on all this?
See, I'll tell you to be very, very frank, today, if you take, right, see, we work with MITI.
Yes.
Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I think we are the fantastic bureaucrats and the minister, right? We have Mr. Krishnan, who is the secretary of very, very thorough, great gentleman, professionally done. And, listening and action is very fast.
Okay.
You answer good, they're very agile, they're willing to listen to the industry. And we are part of whatever the committee, without industry, they don't form in a committee. That's one side. Then also the other side is Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, the Honorable Minister. We met him in Odisha last week. Very willing. He knows the subject. He can talk to him about fab. That's where we come from. The government very, very agile. They're willing to listen to us. We are at the right time, the right people. I'm not going into politics, but I'm just telling we're the right bureaucrats, we're the right administrators to run this. I think they're very, very, very responsive. You answer question. The government is not only the central government, I guess the state government also. I think everybody wants the electronic semiconductors to grow in their own states. So all of them are listen. The moment we want a meeting, we get a meeting. The moment we give, they are willing. So I think government-wise, I don't foresee as an association, we don't foresee any problem. The government are willing to listen to the industry in this segment.
Which is very important. And I think as a follow-up question from Pradeep, that is similar to building the ecosystem. Is there a policy expected for the capital machines manufacturers for the semiconductor manufacturing?
Very much, very much. See what happened. The machine manufacturers, see currently who's manufacturing is Applied Materials, Lam Research, all these companies are manufacturing, like AEM,
Hmm.
Teradyne is manufacturing testers. So we also have a pool. Even in Gujarat, there's a uh, uh, IESA Vision Summit is coming along with Silicon Gujarat in March 5th, 6th, 7th. We have a separate session on supply chain and manufacturing. So if somebody wants to come, you will know what is being done there. This is March 5th, 6th, 7th at Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar. We have a manufacturing focused vision summit this time.
Okay. There is a question from Mr. Raghvendra Prasad. He's touching upon a very important point, talent acquisition and talent management. With the current focus on growing this industry, what is your view on the talent landscape in the country? And how are the companies addressing the talent challenges?
Right. See, basically, I told you design. On the design front, I think India has done very well. We have more than 150 universities, and you take a top colleges, top tier one like IITs or NITs. All of them have got bids. Everybody has got a VLSI now full time course. All these guys have got. Even some people have gone to the BTech VLSI. So VLSI, even triple ITs have done it well. So they have a full-time course, they have a short-term course. On VLSI design front, I think as a country, I think we are not solid. We are actually supplying people abroad. We are exporting people from India. Most of the design people are going from India. So design thing, I think skill-wise, we have done very well. On the manufacturing, yes, because we never have. On test side, we have done very well. Because Tessolve, if you take our company, we started when we came to India in 2004. We had only 40 test engineers in the country, semiconductor test, physical test, can test the chip. Now we have 4,000 plus people in the country.
Wow.
So test again is grown well. So we have good test engineers. The problem is the manufacturing side, fab. Very few fabs are skill available. Currently, all the skills are being imported, right? People are coming back. If we take Tata factory, most of the people are back from the US or Singapore to run the factory, or even the OSATs, Micron. So, but what happened? We are now IESA. We have a campus connect program. We are working with the Government of India Skill Development Council, and Tata has got a big skill development group. All of us are working towards. Mr. Modi also told me we need 100,000 people in this cover. So we are working with all these Government of India academic associations. All three of us are working together to focus and develop these skills as early as possible. So I think in the near future we will not get people from abroad. We will have self-sufficient Indian people to run this manufacturing unit. Manufacturing, yes, we need to work on that.
Got it. Question from Sampath Prabhakar. Good afternoon, sir. We are White House Electronics Lab, US-based company. We recently registered in Bangalore. We offer the IC testing services, failure analysis services. We are looking forward to understand if any policy benefit schemes for company like us.
Very much. The IESA has got a policy. We have a complete booklet, so which you can take it from IESA, which tells very, very clearly what is all the policies from Government of India, what are the subsidies, what is the benefit you get, and also we have put all the states, 8 states, what are all the policies that are being in each of these companies of the sector. That's like a Bible. It's available in IESA office. You can ping me, or you can get IESA offices in Also Road. This is available, but we are giving only physical copies. We are not, soft copies are not being given, soft copy gift. So it's available in IESA office, which tells very, very clearly each of these semiconductor and electronics, what type of subsidies, policies available, and also how you can apply. It tells you how you apply, or also we're given reference people who can help you to do this.
Got it. Sir, I'm going to put one question which has a contradiction in itself, and that is on the government funding and the support and the PLI schemes. So on one hand, they came out with the PLI scheme, I think about 76,000 crore of benefits. Is this good enough? But the exact opposite question, and I'm going to place both together. There are also critics of those funding support from the government. And there's a calculation which says that if you total up the total amount that government is providing to macrons and likes of macrons, and convert that into a job creation, per job creation cost is humongous. So how do you balance both this? Is this enough? And is this really more than enough? So
Yeah, I'll tell you the answer is for you. See, any industry just to come in first, right? To attract the industry, because this was non-existing, say a fab or a OSAT, right? Not existing in India. If you have to bring somebody to the country, you, it is like giving a carrot to make them to come in.
yeah.
Otherwise, see, why should Micron come
Mm, mm,
if you are taking that way? So I think if you, one point, it has to be attractive. I told you, it is the unheard of. The incentive, see, no country gives 50% capital subsidy.
Yeah, exactly.
20, so seven, no country. Why? Because see, unless until, see, we have not got till now why people are coming today.
Mm,
So I think the first is to make sure that we attract the companies to come in. I think that's where we have started well. I think without, see, if we say we'll give you 10%, nobody will come. So I think one is, I think that's right to make sure that they come in with that, because they have to be globally competitive. All these things, right? So that is why we are giving capital subsidy to make sure that they get into. I think that's the right step. Right step. But if you calculate per all these things, it won't work out. So this is to step one. Step one, to attract the companies to come in, investment to come into India. I think there we have done very well. But next step is, that's why one by one, now we are telling about the PLI, right? We are telling the government that do we need more to be given to fab? Now what we are recommending is give more to design, IP. I told you earlier, the IP development has. So what happened? Now the government is looking at, we have a scheme called DLI, Design Link Incentive Scheme. We told them instead of 15 crores to a company, that has to be increased. So that they create an IP in India, so they should get more. So slowly, I think we are changing that pattern. First, you bring people here. The moment you attract, then slowly you change the policy towards thing, and that's where it is. Right or wrong, but if you take attracting the people, it is right.
Yeah. Last 2 minutes, sir, I'm going to place the final questions. You talked about India Macron, India Intel, India LG, India Samsung. You talked about the product IP. Fast forward 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see this industry and India to be at? And what are the visions with which you're moving forward?
See, I'll tell you, India IC, I told you, right? Now people are knowing, right? India has to come with our own ICs.
Yes.
So there are 3-4 companies finally started. I think first you should thank L&T. L&T is coming forward and they have started a division. See, the IP development is not like a revenue. It's first expenses. You have to spend money. Because you have to make, then go to market, right? So I think so I'm very happy that people are now coming forward to invest IP development, which is a good news. So hopefully in the next like 2-3 years, we will have definitely some of the India IC coming in, and which is clear. People have started this, and the government is also supporting the IP company. So that will come in. On the product side, we are definitely now we have to see I always tell where is India Oneida. We have the Oneida TV, we have the Solitaire, we have the Kelvinator refrigerators, we have Godrej refrigerators, all them one bit, but all plugged with LGs. I'm very happy now. Reliance is wanting to now. What is there? You said we can have a India refrigerator. Why not? There's not a high-end technology, right? So I think Reliance is now coming into this consumer market. They want to have their own television. They want to have their own washing machine. India brand. I think so. Definitely, the point two is India products on the consumer side is definitely coming in. On the electronics, like mobile, in India made mobile. I think that's where my only thing is how we are going to take on the Samsungs and Apple, which they have flooded the market with their own thing. So that will take some time. But definitely on the consumer front, we are very much there. On the chip, maybe 3-4 years, we'll have India chip. I think the right track.
Sir, over last, I think 6-7 years, Almus has been consulting Tessolve, and we are very proud of that. But this has all been on the currency and financial market side. But today, I had a great opportunity to interact with you on a business side and on the prospect of semiconductor industry. So it was really fabulous. I feel myself privileged to have this conversation with you, and I'm sure most of the participants who have attended last 1 hour definitely got the greater insights into this industry. And I
It
think
is
you're
my
very,
pleasure.
very clear and candid and addressing all the questions. So,
Absolutely.
indeed an honor. I think with a lot of government support, with an entrepreneurial spirit, with a lot more optimism amongst the entire participants, I'm sure everything that you have laid down as the way forward, I think that is clearly in the achievable domain. And I think it was very, very great interacting with you. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for all the participants, patients listening. It's good. I think thanks to Almus and Maulik for this opportunity. I think we'll do more, and let's all hope this industry will give more and more foreign exchange for you.
Big thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for your
Thank you
time
all.
and
Thank you all.
attention.
Bye bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye
much.
bye. See you. Bye.